風10号ですけれども、
台風10号は
台風10号は
非常に強い台風10号は
Konnichiwa, welcome back to Found in Japan. My name's William, and today we're going to be talking about something that's really important right now and very common in Japan, and that's typhoons. So I've been living in Japan for about 15 years, 16 years, and I've seen a lot of typhoons and the damages that they can cause. In the next few days, a strong typhoon is expected to be hitting Japan. Between the 28th and the 31st, it's going to be making its way across Honshu. So I thought it would be a great time to explain the differences between a typhoon, a cyclone, and a hurricane, and what you can expect when it comes to weather warnings in Japan. So let's get started. Hajime! Oh, that's really bad. First things first, what's the difference between a typhoon, a cyclone, and a hurricane? Well, they're actually all the same type of storm, but the name changes depending on where in the world it occurs. In the Western Pacific Ocean, like around Japan, it's called a typhoon. In the Atlantic Ocean and Northeastern Pacific, we call those storms a hurricane. In the Indian Ocean and South Pacific, it's known as a cyclone. So it's the same storm, just a different name. What can you expect during a typhoon? Strong winds, heavy rains are the main concerns during a typhoon. Japanese meteorology agencies issue warnings in Japanese, and in understanding them can be really helpful in these situations. On top of that, if you rely on public transportation, you can expect delays and even cancellations. Train delays, line cancellations, or halts, especially in typhoon-prone regions, often suspend operations as a safety measure when winds exceed a certain speed. Always check for the latest updates from your transport provider and during the storm. You can do this on your phone, you can use Google, or when you're at the station. There are a few key terms that you should know for strong wind warnings. You might hear kyofu chuihyo, which means strong wind advisory, or hofu keiho, which means gale warning. Both of these are different types of wind-related warning based on speed and have very different implications. If the wind is too strong, they may cancel school. Public transportation, like I mentioned before, might be delayed or canceled. Also, there's some places that are not safe to drive. In fact, the bridge that goes to Kansai Airport has extremely strong wind, and when the wind blows during a typhoon, it may not be safe to drive. For heavy rain, you'll hear o ame chuihyo for heavy rain advisory. Also, you may hear o ame keiho for more serious warning about flash flooding or super heavy rains. In addition, Japan is prone to flash floods and landslides during typhoons. The warnings for these include kousui keiho for the flood warning and dosha sagai keikai jouho for a landslide alert. Please pay close attention to these if you're in the affected areas. I've actually seen a landslide happen in real time while driving. It was very scary. Several years ago, there was a landslide in Nara where several people lost their life, so please be careful. One of the most important steps to staying safe during a typhoon is preparing your home. Make sure to secure or bring things inside, any items that could be lifted or moved during strong winds, like outdoor furniture, potted plants, bikes, or anything like that. I even just bought a grill and I had to put it all away because I didn't want it to flip and fly away and hurt someone. If your home has shutters, make sure to close and secure them, as objects carried by the wind can easily break windows, and it's better to be prepared than to regret it later. I used to live on a high-rise building and it was about 20 stories up, and the wind was crazy toward the top. There were items and pieces of the debris flying around everywhere. We even had parts of our veranda broken, and we were up on one of the higher floors of the building. Finally, if you ever need to evacuate the places that you need to go to, those are called hinanjo, or emergency shelters. It's always a good idea to know where the nearest evacuation site is, just in case. Oftentimes it'll be a public building or a school. I recently saw on the news that the heavy rain in some places occurred and it flooded down into the subway. So please make sure that you stay in a safe place in case of heavy rain. Also, several years ago when the really crazy, I think it was number 25 or something like that, typhoon hit, lots of roofs got ripped off and destroyed and roads washed away. And so people needed to use those shelters during the rest of the storm. And it was a hurricane typhoon followed by another typhoon. So please make sure that you know where these places are so that you can be safe. Another great thing that is important to have is an emergency kit. And you can get these online or at a local home center. We have one in my house. It has blankets, batteries, all that kind of stuff, as well as some emergency food. We even have a little closet over here which has some survival food in it, and it also has some biscuits, some electrolyte drinks, bottled water. In Osaka, we typically don't have very many problems with the power going out or water, but wherever you are, you always want to be safe. That wraps up today's video on understanding typhoons in Japan. I hope that this information can help you stay safe and be better prepared for your storm that comes this way. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions or want to know more about life in Japan. And until next time, please stay safe and I'll find you for more things found in Japan. Mata ne!